Hi everyone, welcome to this campfire session. I've come out into the woods with my lovely friend Stanley to give you a bit of a sneak preview of my new book, which is called Play, and it's available for pre-order now, but it comes out into the real world through the lovely people at Firefly Press on the 5th of October this year. Chapter 1, Mark. This was the game. You build a den, or a camp, or whatever you want to call it, as high as you can build it. It's best if it has more than one level. You make it as well as you can. Tie all the knots properly, pull all the ropes and wait for the smell like a burning or skidding on carpet, and it's the smell that tells you they're tight as they can go. The best den I ever made was the L den. It took 2 days to build, and I used all the wooden pallets I collected and dragged deep into the copse, which is this little group of trees, maybe the size of the centre circle on a football pitch. It was called the L den because when I was finished it looked like a capital L, like you draw on square paper in a maths book. It had a tunnel you had to crawl through to get in, and then the main space at the end of it you could stand up in, like a tower, and that was the game. I was sitting in the den, the summer before year 8 started, the sun throwing thick bars of dusty light between the trees, the inside of the den warm and earthy, when I saw an armchair floating across the heath towards me. It was upside down, its ripped lining flapping. I watched through a gap in the pallet, expecting this strange floating chair to go on past me and trundle off wherever it was going. But it didn't trundle off. It stopped. The armchair flipped over then, revealing the boy who was underneath it. He squinted into the thicket of trees, and he bobbed his head around as he looked, and crouched down a bit sometimes, like a weird chicken who was trying to spot a way in. The boy had got the armchair, past the trees, and was moving it over the uneven ground, rocking it from side to side on its back legs, like it was walking. Now I was certain he was going to try to steal the den from me, and I grabbed my Swiss Army knife from its special shelf, deciding that the saw blade looked scariest, and gently prized it open. He must be after my football cards or some of my other valuable stuff. The boy rearranged the cushion on the armchair, dusted off a few pine needles. "Hello," he said. I didn't answer. "My mum said we could use this chair if we wanted, so I brought it." "We? Who was we?" "It's a bit shit, but it's still pretty comfy. I've got some other stuff too." The boy pulled off his backpack, emptied it onto the chair. Out came a couple of candles, a box of matches, a screwed up old tarpaulin, a few scraggy ends of rope, and what looked like a collection of small, square saucepans that clattered onto the floor. "I took this from Giles. Mum doesn't know, but she won't mind, and Giles doesn't need it anymore. So..." He trailed off. I leant over to the side of the den and picked up the biscuit tin with a seagull's wing in it. It was the best thing I'd ever found, and if someone else was going to come into my den, I didn't want them stealing it straight away. "Are you coming in then?" I moved right to the top, and the boy crawled further in and stood up in the tower. "How'd you bring it down?" he asked. "What? How'd you bring it down? That's the best bit, bringing them down." "Oh, I don't know. I haven't planned that bit yet. I'd spent the last week getting this den perfect, adding shelves and the footrests. I wasn't ready to turn it into another one yet." "Want me to do it for you?" the boy asked. He was eager, excited. Yeah, whatever." I kicked my feet around a bit, trying to put them close to his face to show him that he shouldn't do whatever it was he was talking about, but he was already wriggling back out, down the tower, and out of the den. "Can I use this?" he called back, waving my penknife under my feet. I must have left it on the bottom shelf when I climbed up. After a few minutes he crawled back in. Bunched in his hand were the ends of different bits of ropes, their other ends trailing behind him, tightening. I thought for a second of a set of demolition experts' fuses. He passed a bundle to me. He spoke in an odd, grand way, like we were going to launch a ship or something. "Just give them a pull." I gave a half-hearted tug. Nothing happened except a kind of popping sound. I tugged again, harder this time, and with a dull kind of ping and a horrible lurch that shot through my stomach, the tower swayed. I put my arm out instinctively, tried to grab the pallet next to me, but it was tipping out and away. Next to me, the boy was laughing like some mad animal. Everything was slipping backwards, and I was swinging my legs out to balance myself when I felt a sharp crack on the top of my head. The roof pallet, robbed of its walls, had fallen in, and then I got an eyeful of sky for a second as the pallet I was sitting on finally toppled, and me flailing helplessly on top of it. A creak and a squeal and a skewed tumble, wood screeching against wood as I rolled over my own back and found myself lying face down in pine needles, my feet on the seat of the boy's chair, and the last of the L den came down with a series of tinny clacks and loud thunks. All around were pallets and bits of rope, splintered wood, smashed sticks. Up against the still standing section, another pallet was leaning at a funny angle. There was a leg sticking out from under it. I scrambled over and pulled the wood off him. There he was, eyes closed, his arms clasped across his stomach and shaking uncontrollably. I picked up his limp arm, searching for whatever splinter of wood or stick had clearly stabbed him, but I couldn't see anything. And then I got it. The boy was laughing. Helplessly, unstoppably laughing so much he was unable to open his eyes. Then I started laughing too. What with the giddiness, the slowly subsiding wave of nausea, the tingling feeling not just on my forehead but down my back, my whole body felt like it was vibrating. And the whole thing was hilarious. I'd never felt so alive. And that was the new game.